Yemi Oshubanjo, wives of the President and the Vice President, representatives of the heads of state and governments, the Senate President, Speaker, House of Representatives, Acting Chief Justice of the Federation, members of the National Assembly, former governors and party leaders, members of the Diplomatic Corps, service chiefs, Inspector General of Police, and other heads of security organizations, APC, party faithfuls and stalwarts, senior government officials, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. All praise is due to God Almighty, who spared our lives to be present at this occasion. We give thanks also that the democratic process has been further entrenched and strengthened. Nearly 20 years ago, a democratically elected government took over from the military in a historic transfer of political power for our country. Today, we are privileged to mark the longest period of unbroken democratic leadership and peaceful transfer of power from one democratically elected government to another in Nigeria. Throughout the last 4 years, I respected the independence of INEC. I ensured that INEC got all the resources it needed for independent and impartial management of elections in the country. All interested parties are agreed that the recent elections, which, except for pockets of unrest, were free, fair, and peaceful. I thank all the people who worked for our party, who campaigned, and who voted for us. I thank my fellow Nigerians who, since 2003, have consistently voted for me. Victory is your greatest reward. Peace, unity, and greater prosperity will be our collective legacy. Your Excellencies, fellow Nigerians, I and the Nigerians collectively must give adequate thanks to our armed forces, police, and other law enforcement agencies for working around the clock to protect us by putting themselves in harm's way and defending our values and protecting our future. Terrorism and insecurity are worldwide phenomena, and even the best policed countries are experiencing increasing incidents of unrest and are finding things hard to cope. The principal thrust of this new administration is to consolidate on the achievements of the last 4 years, correct the lapses inevitable in all human endeavors, and tackle the new challenges the country is faced with, and chart a bold plan for transforming Nigeria. Fellow Nigerians, I have had the privilege of free education from primary school to staff college to war college. I received my formative education in Katsina and Kaduna, and my higher education in England, India, and the United States. I have worked and served in Kaduna, Lagos, Abeokuta, Makadi, Port Harcourt, Maiduguri, Ibadan, Jos, and finally here in Abuja. Throughout my adult life, I have been a public servant. I have no other career but public service. I know no service but public service. I was involved at close quarters in the struggle to keep Nigeria one. I can therefore do no more than dedicate the rest of my life to work for the unity of Nigeria and the upliftment of Nigerians. In 2003, 2002 and 3 campaigns and elections, I traveled by road to 34 of the 36 states of the Federation. This year, I traveled by air to all 36 states of the Federation. Before enduring my time in the armed forces and in government, I have interacted with Nigerians of all ages and persuasions and different shades of opinion over a period of more than 50 years. And my firm belief is that our people, above all, want to live in peace and harmony with their fellow Nigerians. They desire opportunity to better themselves in a safe environment. Most of the instances of intercommunal and interreligious strife and violence were and still are as a result of sponsorship or incitement by ethnic, political, or religious leaders hoping to benefit by exploiting our divisions and fault lines, thereby weakening our country. And our country, Nigeria, is a great country. According to United Nations estimates, our population will rise to 411 million by 2050, making us the third most populous nation on earth, behind only China and India. We have water, arable land, forests, oil and gas, and vast quantities of solid minerals. We are blessed with an equable climate. However, the bulk of our real wealth lies in agriculture, livestock, forestry, and mining. We possess all the ingredients of a major economic power on the world stage. What we require is the will to get our acts together, and our strength is in our people, our youth, our culture, our resilience, our ability to succeed despite the odds. A huge responsibility before rests on this and succeeding administration to develop, harness, and fulfill our enormous potential into force to be reckoned with globally. Thus far, we Nigerians can be proud of our history since independence in 1960. We have contributed to United Nations peacekeeping responsibilities all over the world. We have stabilized Liberia, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, and 2 years ago, we prevented the Gambia from degenerating into anarchy. Without Nigerian influence and resources, the liberation of Angola, Mozambique, Namibia, Zimbabwe, and ultimately South Africa would have come at great cost. This fact has been attested by none other than the late Nelson Mandela himself. Elsewhere, Nigeria is the big brother to our neighbors. We are the shock absorber of the West African sub-region, the bulwark of ECOWAS and Lake Chad Basin Commission. We can therefore be proud to be Nigerians. We must continue to be good neighbors and good citizens. At home, we have been successful in forging a nation from different ethnicities and language groups. Our evolution and integration into one nation continues apace. When, therefore, we came to office in 2015, after a decade of struggle, we identified 3 cardinal and existential challenges our country faced and made them our campaign focus, namely security, economy, and fighting corruption. None but the most partisan will dispute that in the last 4 years, we have made solid progress in addressing these challenges. When I took the oath of office on 29th May 2015, insecurity reigned. Apart from occupying 18 local governments in the northeast, Boko Haram could at will attack any city, including the federal capital, could threaten any institution, including bombing the United